All right, hello. Jim and Corinne here with Reflections en Route. Welcome back to another round of Passports and Pass. Today in the hot seat we have friends of ours, Mary and her friend Alicia. They've been traveling together. They're both married with kids. Sometimes you travel with your husbands, sometimes just the kids. Have you ever traveled just alone?
With each other?
No, you travel alone, not with the kids.
Yes, but not with
Not with each other?
No.
So it's usually a family
Yeah.
thing. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll start the interview.
I'm Mary, and I am married and have two little girls, ages 3 and 4, and they are travelers as well, so they love to go explore just like I do.
I'm Alicia. I'm married as well, and I have one boy, and he was born in Germany, and so he's grown up traveling his whole life so far.
Wunderbar.
So give them the rules real quick.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask each of you individually just 3 questions. And then we'll bring everybody back together and we'll see how well you did so that we can see if you're travel compatible.
All right.
Do you get passports or pass?
Okay, hi Mary.
Hello.
So I'm going to ask you 3 questions and get your answers. You just write them down, and then later on we'll see how well Alicia knows. So the first question, every travel partnership has an adjustment period. What is one thing that you and your family had to adjust or compromise to travel with Alicia's family?
Okay. I think that's an interesting question. I think that's always changing, one. But I think probably the biggest thing is, especially when you're traveling with another family, and we've only ever traveled with Alicia and her family, but getting out the door, like trying to get somewhere that you're going. And I like to get up and get going and be there early so that we miss the crowds. And Alicia and her husband are a little slower getting ready. But that's something that has been there, whether it's been with kids or without kids. That's
So
always kind of been something that...
Start time?
Yes, start time.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. All right, the second question. When you're faced with a decision, a travel decision, who makes the decision? And what's the process? How do you deal with 2 families?
That's kind of a hard question.
It is.
Dealing with 2 families. So I think, and this also kind of goes back to having kids, and our kids are young, so we now have a 2, a 3, and 4-year-old between the 2 families. But I think we try to weed out some of that when we're planning and try to make a rough itinerary. And that doesn't mean that we have to stick with that itinerary. It just is helpful when you have so many people traveling together to have the bones, to the structure. So usually when we're planning things, we look at a variety of different resources and we talk about it. And sometimes I think we have to work through that, because sometimes Alicia will come with an idea and I'll come with an idea and we're not on the same page, and we just have to talk it through, and then we have to look at the big picture. So that's a really hard question, because I feel like when we're planning it, it's a team decision. If it were in the moment, I don't know. I think we both sometimes take the reins and say, okay, this is what we're doing.
Whoever feels most strong.
Yeah, I'm going to say, though, that Alicia's probably going to say that I'm the one that makes that decision most of the time.
So you're having lunch on a plaza or a big square, some kind of pedestrian zone. Do your kids need to stay with you at the table all the time, or are they free to kind of run around and do what they want since it's a big open area?
I also think that depends on the situation. I'm going to tell you with kids, most of the time, if it's a plaza and it's a pedestrian area and there's no cars, I'm really not as concerned about it. So I let them roam a little bit more. However, there are times when I think that you have to, for safety reasons, make sure that they're with you. But they're kids, and they don't sit still very long, and I have a hard time sitting still sometimes, waiting for things. So I understand, and they need to play, and sometimes it's a lot more entertaining to be running around than sitting at a table. We do try to pack things that can keep them entertained at the table, but after you spend a week traveling someplace, they're tired of the same things, and they're kids, and they just want to play. So they're most likely free to roam, and we probably choose a place where they can be free to roam.
All right, that's all the questions, and we'll let them have their interview, and then
Okay.
we'll all get back together.
All right, now it's our turn.
All right.
So, first question. Traveling with a family is definitely its own sort of, realm. How much gear is necessary for you to take for your son? For example, do you always bring a stroller? Like, I have friends who have collapsible beds they bring for their kids. What kinds of things do you bring when you travel? So it's necessary. You have to have them.
Yeah, I actually never bring a stroller. And the biggest reason is because it's so big and bulky and just heavy. Too much to do. So I actually have a carrier.
Like a baby carrier.
Yep, like it's the Kelty carrier.
Oh, okay.
So it's a big old backpack. My husband actually recommended that one. He wanted that one because it fits like a rucksack. That's a must-have. Really, I pack minimal for him. He gets like 2 or 3 cars. Obviously some food because he's in the picky stage. I don't ever bring a bed for him. He normally shares a bed with us.
He's easy.
He's easy, yeah. I don't really bring that much for him.
Next question. How do you like to structure your day? When you're planning what you're going to do for the day, do you like to fill it up with activities, pretty much? Do you only want to pick one real thing per day? How do you structure your day?
I think depending on where we're going and what we want to see, for the most part, they're kind of jam-packed.
Okay.
And if we're in a car, it works out where we try to go during nap time for our longest stint in the car. So we do get a nap in the day. And if we don't, we just hope that he falls asleep in the carrier, which doesn't always happen. But I think for me, do as much as you can when you can.
So you said Isaiah's at his picky stage.
Yep.
So that was my next question. Do you bring food for him? Is he expected to eat what's available? What does a typical meal look like when you're sightseeing, in the middle of sightseeing?
That is the most complicated. He's super picky right now. So I try to find certain things that he will eat. For the most part, I always...
Off the menu, you mean?
No,
or?
not off the menu.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I'll bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or Nutella or whatever, the country has. But for the most part, we haven't ordered him a kid's meal yet or anything, just because he doesn't eat it. And it's just a waste of money to us to do that, because he's not going to eat it, no matter how hard I try.
No matter what.
Yeah.
All right, so those were easy questions.
Those were easy. Those were
Yeah,
good.
let's just see how well Mary knows.
All right, let's do it.
Now we're going to go back and we're going to see if you can answer Mary's questions. Like,
Okay.
how would Mary respond to these questions?
Okay.
So, first question, Alicia. We definitely think that every time you have new travel partners, there's an adjustment period. So, what is one thing that you would say Mary's family had to adjust in order to travel with you?
Please say my husband.
No, do you want to second?
But
Do
in
you want to
what
second
respect?
this?
In what respect would I say my husband? He is a little bit selfish.
You're like totally throwing your husband under the bus.
He'll agree with that. So I would have said that would probably be the biggest one, but I guess I'm wrong on that.
Okay.
You are wrong on that.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I said start
Oh.
time. And I mean start time, like being places, not just
Yeah.
leaving
What she
the
did
house.
say was
but
probably more because of your husband.
So
Yeah, okay.
But we've traveled without her husband, and still, this
We'll
is
still
still
talk-
sometimes an issue. You
Okay.
know I like to be places.
Yeah,
and
well, here's the thing. Mary's start time is 7 a.m., and I have a sleeping kid that likes to sleep a long time.
mine are up early,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to go.
There you go.
That's the best time.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So it obviously was an adjustment. It's still adjusting.
But she's adjusting to me.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
That's true.
She's learning that
That's
start
true.
time
that
earlier
is true.
is better.
That is true, yes.
Next question. So, traveling's all about making decisions. Every time you turn around, there's another decision to be made. When you're faced with a decision in the middle of the day, who makes the decision, or how do you decide how to deal with pleasing both families?
I'd say I think we're both really easygoing, so I think we both decide. I would say maybe Mary says her input first, but most of the time I totally agree with it. So I think we would do it together, though.
Yes. So I talked about how when we're really planning a trip from the beginning, it is a consensus. We both agree. I said, but in the moment, sometimes like somebody just has to make a decision, especially when you're traveling with so many people that I sometimes think I probably say, let's just do this.
That's exactly what I said.
So I think that's definitely a pass.
Passport.
I think you got that one. That's 1 and 1.
I also might have said that I was bossy.
And Mary's final question was, we're having lunch outside in a plaza, a square. Do your kids, like, what are the rules? Can your kids get up and run around? Does someone go and watch them so they can play? Do they have to stay within your eyes? Like, what are the rules? How do you deal with that?
Ooh, that's changed because as we've kind of gone on, my kid now can walk and run. I would say they kind of run around a little bit, but for the most part, I think they eat first, and then they run around, and then one of us or one of the husbands will kind of watch them while one of us finish our food, or vice versa.
What about when you're waiting for food?
When we're waiting for food?
Like you're ordering and
You're
waiting for
ordering,
food.
and then there's that German wait time.
Oh gosh.
Or Italian,
Or Italian wait
which is
time.
even longer.
I think they're waiting. They're
sitting at the table waiting.
they're sitting at the table waiting.
Interesting.
Am I wrong?
I said free to roam. I said it depends on where you are. If it's a pedestrian area, then
if we're
they're
in
free
the
to roam.
plaza.
And I said that we try to pack things for our kids
Mhm.
to do at the table, but after you travel for a week, those toys and those things to do are very old, and so they end up roaming.
Yeah.
Do we
So-
have a passport?
So,
She did say
She
run
did say
around
free to
first.
roam afterwards. It just
Yeah.
Okay, Mary, so we'll see how well you know Alicia as a traveler. Her first question, how much gear is necessary to bring on every trip for her son? Like a stroller, capsule bag.
okay. So
What's
this
the
would
bare
be
minimum?
Alicia's answer.
Mhm.
yes,
Yes.
Alicia's in.
Okay, Alicia packs a lot more than I do. I think. Well, okay, that's wrong. Let's.
So we're talking gear here. We're not talking clothing and
Okay.
Yeah.
like stroller, capsule bag, stuff like that.
Well, I think we both pack this. We try to pack the same in that. So, I mean, we do the carriers, a lot of us, but I guess maybe the size of the carrier.
She did say her carrier was huge.
Like Croatia, we were fitting things in the carrier just to be packed in the car. But
Yeah,
in
it's a backpack and
Iceland,
carrier.
she had the different carrier that was a lot smaller, and so I don't know. I mean, I think we try to be reasonable because you try to plan ahead, especially with kids, and trying to find things that you need in a foreign country is sometimes hard. But I think we try to be reasonable. I don't know if that's an
So
answer.
she said-
Okay, so what did you say? She said she never brings the stroller,
Okay.
but she does have a baby carrier, and she did tell me
Mm-hmm.
it was huge.
Yes, and sometimes we share strollers. Though, like if we've talked about sharing strollers, but that's a planning piece
Okay.
for us.
I think that's a pass.
All right, Mary. So the next question. How does Alicia like to structure the day when you travel? Will she fill it up with activities? Only one thing per day? What would she do in a typical?
What's a typical day look like?
Well, we're there to see things, so we like to travel. But if I had to say, I think she fills her day, but at the same time, I think she likes a little bit more relaxing, not as go as me. I don't know if that's the correct answer, but she feels it like we're there to travel and see things, so we do those things.
And she said,
She
"Jam
said
packed.
jam packed.
Okay.
Fill it up.
Yeah.
It's a passport.
I said the exact same thing you said, pretty much. I'm there to see things, so do it while I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk food.
Mm.
Everybody's favorite subject for traveling. Will Alicia bring food with her, or just your son, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or is her son expected to eat whatever else is eating?
Oh man, she'll bring food for him, and she'll I don't want to say hoard it. That's not the right word. But she likes to make sure, well, if you bring food and you know your kid likes that food, you want to make sure that he has that food. So not that she won't share, because we do also sometimes go shopping on the economy and share food. But if it's from Germany and we're traveling somewhere else, she hoards it for him.
Brings food.
He's picky.
He's
He is picky. He's at that age though. He's
That's
two.
why I
that's
hoard
exactly
it.
what
Exactly.
he said,
Yep.
so.
That sounds bad when I say it's hoarding it, but you want to make sure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
job.
definitely give him the passports.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was a lot of fun. I think you guys got your passport to pass and you found your travel balance.
I really like to see families traveling together.
And Alicia
Yes.
has a YouTube channel that she's starting to get going, so please check her out. What is your address?
It's a Groth Party of 3.
All right. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you.